This is the Lydia and Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl, episode 218. As usual, we are in all different parts of the globe. I'm in Rick I's hometown, Denton, Texas. Where are you, Tim?
I'm with Rick I, not in his hometown, in Lyon, France, at Ground Zero, the venue. And we just finished our sound check, and we're going to do our show. It's going to be
Well,
fun.
Kevin Shea and I threw down hardcore last night at Rubber Gloves, and it was a good time had by all. There was
I can imagine.
destruction, creation,
Oh boy.
and it was
Oh boy.
fantastic. Chad,
Well,
the
Rubber
main
Gloves.
guy, Chad, the main dude there, pulled a great stunt of acrobatics when he rescued a vinyl that had slid down behind a huge bench, breaking a giant ceramic head and being photographed with a Jason mask on his ass.
That sounds really fun. It sounds like a classic Rubber Gloves event. We drove from Bologna, Italy yesterday and had one of the greatest Bologna lunches you can imagine. I don't want to talk about it. It was just that good. Very sad.
Well,
guess what?
Yeah, we had a good chat.
20 euros each. 20 euros each with wine, starter, prima, secondi, a dessert. 20. I mean, what the fuck?
Hey, you gotta eat. We
Yeah,
also
had
a pretty lovely dining experience in Denton. Didn't know it could be done, but it certainly was. But anyway, we both are on the run right now. I ain't got many stories to tell. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to say, go ahead. You better tell it, because I got like 2 minutes for you.
I got a few. Well, speaking of eating, Mark Sumserset of New Smyrna Beach. Oh, no, he's actually from South Carolina, but he was surfing in New Smyrna Beach. Do you see this? I think it must have been a bull shark bit his head, like 2,000 stitches across his face, knocking it up. That's the shark attack capital, I think, in the world. They've already had 7 attacks, 22 last year, 343. So that was a pretty dynamic. They are pretty dynamic photographs of this scar.
Okay,
I'd rather talk
about bites your head. Now, head is harder than most other parts of your body, but that's gotta hurt like friggin' hell.
Oh, no. He quoted and said it felt like a bear trap clamping down on his skull.
I kind of knew
it. That's what it was. It just knocked him off his board and just started going nuts on him. His head was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Ouch. Well, the only animal story I have is there's a rooster in Denton in the backyard of the Airbnb, followed by a snarling chihuahua. So that's the kind of scenario I'm in. I'm staying safe.
That sounds loud and aggressive. Well, speaking of body parts, going back to the head, so that huge disaster at Burning Man, the mud and 70,000 people, and their solution was put plastic bags over your shoes. But then a bunch of hippies were like, fuck that, man. Just going full on barefoot, not ruining my shoes. Well, the problem with doing that is you can get a thing called foot rot, aka trench foot. Where if your foot is just basically soggy and soaked and is being pickled over a week, you're asking for all types of exotic bacteria to come and enter your system.
You might as well have a shark bite your feet off at that point.
Yeah. It's basically just like like when you get like rotten fruit and it just kind of disintegrates, or a rotten nut. That's gonna be your fucking foot. Now, I am appreciating. I don't know if you've checked it out, but Oprah Winfrey's having a little temper tantrum because her and Dwayne "The Rock" Chapman did this fundraiser in Maui for all the victims, and they were up there smiling, saying, "Our goal is to raise $10 million from you, and we'll add $1 million each." Well,
what?
She's worth $3 billion, and
so gross.
people are well. Why don't you pay the whole thing? You're asking the people to pay it. And by the way, it's nothing to you. And she woke up all upset, like, we're in a really bad place in America now. And I couldn't believe the backlash.
Well, that's because we have rich cunts like her who want to give their lunch money for a whole fucking town that's been destroyed. All right, you know what? Enough with these sad sack sorrows. Yeah. I just came back from the University of New Mexico, Albuquerque, under the auspice of Professor Greg Moss, who happened to have gone to school with your brother, Ben.
Yes, he did. Small world. Small world, yes.
The connective tissue is unending. So for this special episode, number 218, I'm presenting a sister witch throwdown of the highest order with, I think, about 10 women taking to the stage. And so it's the performance that we did at the Fusion Gallery in Albuquerque after my workshop. And it's pretty spectacular. And the set opens with an absolutely fantastic poet laureate of New Mexico, Jessica Helen Lopez, who's a teacher and just a radical. One of her poems is called Cunt Bomb. Can't wait to have that one up.
Oh, boy.
And it's followed by the presentation of what we did in my workshop, which was me with 9 other gals weaving our stories together. So that's what's about to go down on this number 218 of the Lydia and Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl, who are seemingly forever on tour. Tim Dahl, can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you either. It's gonna be fun.
Should be fun. Shout out to all your peeps over there, and I'm gonna go tickle Kevin Shea awake right now.
Okay, tickle me, Kevin.
Residents at the university this week working with graduate students and artists from the community, and she's developed a performance that incorporates her own work, weaving in and around the themes of local Albuquerque artists' work as well. So this is a one of a kind show specifically for Albuquerque. Super exciting. Some ground rules up front. Please, no phones, no recording, no photography, and withhold your applause until the end of each performer's set. There's going to be 2 sets. There'll be a 10-minute intermission in between. Okay, let me introduce our first performer. Albuquerque Poet Laureate Emeritus Jessica Helen Lopez is a nationally recognized award-winning slam poet and holds the title of 2012 and 2014 Women of the World City of Albuquerque Champion. She has been a featured writer for 30 poets in their 30s by Muzzle and named one of the 10 up-and-coming Latinx poets you need to know by international digital publisher Remezela. Her first collection of poetry, Always Messing with Them Boys, made the Southwest Book of the Year reading list and was awarded the Zia Book Award presented by New Mexico Women Press. Her second collection, Cunt Bomb, is published by Swimming with Elephants Publications, 2014. She's an educator at UNM's Chicano Studies Department and at the Native American Academy. Please welcome Jessica Helen Lopez.
How's it going? Saturday. I don't know if you guys realize this, but Lydia motherfucking Lunch is in the house. And this little ditty is for her. Oh, yeah. I've got no qualms on being a woman. No problem with my swinging hips, paint my lips, a Nefertiti type of chick. A fretting on foul mouth, drink some beer kind of bitch. Laugh with the girls, smoldering cigarillo hangs on hard lips. I'm a quick-wit pessimist, born with a bad disposition, bonding bartenders and bold waitresses up to no good. That dangerous table, back of the bar shadows, black widows chewing up men, throwing back beers, half-cocked rifle, my poem, a revolution on the horizon. Tipsy chatter, shackle free of mean daddies, fast-fisted husbands, 70 cents on the dollar, double standards, and sorry-ass sexual innuendos, scratching where I please. Another round of brew, please. Remove your hands from my ass, please. A tease. Stomping through life, squeezed into lean jeans. I'm a contradiction, wearing a barely there bra and bulldozing bullshit. Those that aim to hurt me, targeting those that aren't, not knowing any difference. A hangover of regrets and smudged mascara. What to do with this anger like a man, this tongue like a proprietor of porn? Where do I fit between dainty, decent, and vulgar truth? Sexy and slutty, sexy and slutty, sexy and slutty, maternal but murderous butt of a cigarette. Beautiful thing, sexy beer bottle and smoking marble lights down to the last stick, last match, last call. I've got no qualms with alcohol. Smooth and fluid, 10 feet tall, heavy-handed eyeshadow, hooded lids, sling my arrows. Aim to miss. Swinging hips, painted lips. Dangerous woman. Gracias. So I was at the Poetry Summit today at the Tortuga Gallery. That's over in the Southeast Heights. And Marisa Prada, she hosted this summit with 23 poets from all over the country. They gathered, and musicians and all these different visual artists. And as soon as she called my name, I had a wraparound skirt earlier. I've had a wardrobe change, y'all, for Lydia lunch. But as soon as she called my name and I walked on the stage, my skirt almost fell off around my waist. But I won't get naked for you, Lydia, not this time. But I will read you a poem about my pussy. This is called Obsidian Knife to Cut the Shit Out. When your pussy is made of volcanic glass, lip sharp and juice of the black blue blood ooze from the memories of your in-between-the-legs magic, don't want to remember but must not forget recollections. You by a blade. That blade is a root. It is a truffle you are always meant to unearth. It is a knife to cut the shit out. Cut the worry. Cut the ties that bind and strangle. Cut that man's interior jugular vein. You let the blood pour into a stainless steel singing bowl. Then boil that shit. Pour the gelatinous waste from your kitchen window. Let the sunshine burn the poison from its DNA. Then you cut scraps of muslin, stitch medicine into the flesh of the cotton, stitch it with your pussy hair, weave the wool of you. You are your own unrepentant Delilah. Wield that obsidian blade, sharp and pointed as a stag's springtime antler, free of winter's velvet. Take that blade and shave your legs, or don't. Cut your hair, or don't. Pull the petrified glass from between the sorcery of where your thighs meet, where your pain sings like a choir of holier than thou bedeviled angels, glistens with the beauty of your suffering, glistens like brine, the way snails and mollusks produce the fruit of their jelly, propel their muscled bodies forward, forward. You will fashion a blade, you will fashion a blade, you will buy a bone-weary pommel and produce a knife, a good knife. Carve your name into the nearest dead tree like a good witch does, like a bad bitch does. Cut this year's past umbilical and bury it on the east side of your home, or eat it instead. Whatever you want, girl, whatever you want, whatever you want. You will whittle a lover from the bark of a cedar tree, whittle a friend, a song, cut the lonely from your rib cage, cut the shit, let the juice of the black blue veins drip from the old house you once called your body, and in that house you will leave the lights on. Let them hum, let them burn, for all passers-by to witness the hallelujah of your glory, for all those gawkers and sin-gobbling capricious folk to ride like the summer tent born-again evangelical circus-goers they are. Let them smolder beneath the Damascus blade that you made with your very hands, throat heavy to the touch. Let them judge, let them witness how your obsidian knife is able to blind the eyes, catch the light, refract the phenomenon of sight. Cut the shit, bend girl, bend girl, bend, the way hematite makes love to the silica that births the obsidian. Then see how they pray, oh, how they will pray to the sacred and divine black blue blood producing pussy. Yes. I've said pussy a few times, I might as well say the word cunt. Let's reclaim that shit, shall we? So this is called Cunt Bomb. I was lucky enough to have this published by my homegirl, Katrina Garaccio. She founded Swimming with Elephants Publications. So it's a little chapbook, right? So it's a little smaller collection than a full-length collection. But, you know, I was teaching at a school where there was, female-identified students who were pregnant. And they were in school, and they were trying to get their degrees. And I was going to share a poem by Marty McConnell about praising the body. And one of the lines said something about praising the cunt, how it gives and how it receives. And the guy, you know, the white cis vato, he wasn't a vato, he should have been, but the white cis dude who was in charge said, nah, you can't talk about cunts. You can't talk about that. I'm like, well, we're all pregnant. I think we know about cunts. And he disbanded the group. And so, of course, there was a lot of revolt around that afterwards. I won't get into it now, but Cunt Bomb became the poem that, was the muse of this incident, and then became a book. And Katrina G was like, I'll fucking publish that. And I was like, thank you. And we did. The sea is as insidious as a paper cut, as pleasurable as a paper boat, if you happen to know how to fold one and let it ride. The you of it lies between your legs. Look down lovingly. Lucky you if you happen to have one or purchased one or got one some fucking way. The cunt is absolutely not a bomb, but you may pet it if you will. Pet it as if it is a pet rabbit your mother never let you have. It is not a bomb. It will not hand grenade explode your skull open like a cantaloupe. Brain matter writhing against the wall behind your head. It will not shred your hands to lace if you happen to finger the trigger every now and now. The cunt is most definitely a bomb. You may strap it to your chest. There it will reside like your own personal rattlesnake. Do not attempt to rob banks with it. Do, however, tell your boss that you own a cunt. You have the receipt to prove it. And watch how on the inside he faints like little boy blue. Do, however, tell your teacher that you can spell cunt, that if you happen to extract letters from the available alphabet and arrange them in such a way, this is what you get. C-U-N-T. The cunt is not a rude house guest, spoiling the kitchen towels, sneaking bacon scraps to your arthritic dog. The cunt is not a rapist nor a necromancer because Webster says it is so. Cunt is the most disparaging word in the English language. It will make men both want to fuck you and bash your face in. Because of this, they are fire engine red-faced and embarrassed. Because of this, you should wear it like a good perfume on the soft side of the wrist, which is to say, the N forces the tongue to the top of your mouth, causing you to bare your teeth ever slightly so. Note that the T is the marvel of it all, tying everything up in a neat and tidy corset like a coin purse or a straitjacket. Here are some fun things you too can do with the word cunt. Google it, and it is ensured you will have hours of fun. Hold it to the sunlight like your favorite kaleidoscope. Create a word search in which every word is the word cunt. Reconcile the word cunt by writing a poem no one will ever publish. Challenge yourself to define the word cunt to your 9-year-old daughter. Rack up a triple letter score next time you Scrabble. Translate cunt in Espanol and impress your folks with such twintastics as chucha, choncha, cucha, cuca, and the ever masculine version, coño. There is nothing more sensual than a cunt who can wear a tilde like a party dress. Recall that the cunt yields great power, which is to say it will scare great many a people. One last recommendation. Scrawl the word cunt on 101 small pieces of white paper, each a small and distinct snowflake. Insert it into randomly selected books located on the shelves of your favorite library. Walk away and wait. Watch the fallout. Years and years and years to come, the word cunt will float back down to earth like confetti or a deafening ash. Okay, I'm going to end with this one because I'm excited to see Lydia and all the folks that are going to grace this stage. This is a love letter from Chavela Vargas to Frida Kahlo. Raise your right pinky in the air if you know Chavela Vargas. See? Bueno? If you don't, right after this, go get on Spotify and listen to some Vargas. Raise your right pinky in the air if you know some Frida Kahlo. So Chavela Vargas is from Costa Rica, and she came to Mexico, and she fell madly in love with Frida Kahlo. Frida was all drunk at her house in Coyoacan, fighting with Diego and shit, and she saw her and was like, I fucking love you. I'm sure this is exactly how it went. This is historical right now. And then she was like, I'm a musician and you're an artist. Luca, let's get together. This is an imagined love letter from Chavela to Frida. This is my bookmark on how to spray my pepper spray correctly. Motherfuckers don't play. A love letter from Chavela Vargas to Frida Kahlo. Fridita, you are my shadow twin. My wicked release, my dark and tiny dove, eres mi beso de plumas del colibrí. ruby-throated hummingbird of the sacred song, reindeer of Coyoacan, keeper of the blue house, fawn and fair, Mexica Xolo Itzcuintli. I knew when I met you on that cobblestone street I would love you, leave you, your heart a nopal, the scarlet flesh of it throbbing, sweet and rich and meant for another, but for a moment we danced and laughed our way through life. I was your enchanted cantante, you, my whirling baile, your eyebrows together were a swallow, in mid-flight your lips, a blessed altar, and I laid my head in your lap, the plush cushion of your thighs. You smelled of sugar and juice of succulents, tobacco, y tequila. You smelled of earth and root, Mexican hawthorn, little manzanita of the desert, red berry, and crooked twist-vine of bark. I ran my tongue across the railroad of your scars, the brown buttons of your nipples, Fridita, woman of another world, mi Tijuana bride. When I first saw you, I knew I would love you, leave you, knowing the remembering is the longest part. Your kisses linger like mezcal on the tongue, the bite of the agave, honey and fire, life and death, sleep and dream, snake and worm, the in-between. And here, aquí, you and I are young forever, por vida, mijita, forever. Ah, Fridita, paloma negra. When I am gone, do not let that man tear you asunder, that man of gluttonous belly and ego, wasteland of no loyalty. Do not let him take your spirit, susto, tethered by a thin string floating into the ether. Do not scissor your hair from scalp, for it is a sacred, snaking, flowing black river of onyx, and I am lost in its currents. Ah, Chulita, woman of wolves. When I first met you, I didn't know what you wanted to tell me, but I shut your mouth with my kisses, and like that, we spent many, many hours. Paloma negra, paloma negra. I grow mad with the hours I am with you. I grow wanton with the hours without you. I'm your dedicated soldada. I will wrench and gnash my teeth at those who would harm you. Paloma negra, paloma negra. I am your Chavela, your Isabel of the rugged rainforest of Costa Rica. I am your Caribbean coastline, and you, my city girl, Mexicana, estudiante, my scholar and warrior, breastplate of emerald parrot. My love for you is a shining obelisk. Paloma negra. I must leave you now. And I know my words pierce the armor of your heart, the burr and needles quilted across your clavicle of tropical bird and song, your fawn-like clavicle, your clavicle made from my mouth, my searching fingers, my unwavering and unfaltering love, my desire made of lapis on fire, amber on fire, turquoise and coral on fire. I am hammered gold, and you, the soft dewdrop of the pearl. The skin across your belly is bizcochito soft, and I taste the paste of you, blood-rusted red atole. I pinch it between my pursed lips and plead with you. We are the secreted, hushed, moonly women, the call of the Yoni sisters. We are the spirited birds who fly above all earthly things, away from all men. And the patriarch is a faded painting, a mural no one remembers. I must leave you now. Sweet twin, shadow self. The remembering is the longest of all. And when I drop the tiny glittering opal of my saliva to your lips, you drink it down like a thirsting woman, a hummingbird, huitzil, sipping dew, Ridita. I must leave you now. Into your melon soft ears I whisper, I know, you said, I know. And your eyes glittered as if millennium-aged coal, black and fraught with the violence of transformation, the beauty of death and metamorphosis, like the moment right before coal is squeezed into a diamond, like the moment right before the withered leg sprouts wings. I want to be inside your darkest everything. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Lydia.
Let's give it up again for Jessica Helen Lopez. reminder, per Lydia's request, save the applause till the end of the entire performance. We just want to let one thing roll into another again. Lydia Lunch is an award-winning poet, performer, actor, musician, filmmaker, photographer, producer, and podcaster who has created a body of work unparalleled in American culture. With her seminal band, Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, Lydia helped forge the late 70s movement known as No Wave, a wildly abrasive and anti-commercial approach to art making. In addition to her own prolific output, comprised of dozens of books, recordings, films, and performances, Lydia has collaborated with some of the most innovative artists of our time, including Thurston Moore, Nick Cave, Nick Zed, Exene Zervenka, Hubert Selby Jr., Heinz Jacinda Neubauten, J.G. Thirlwell, and Roland S. Howard, among many others. Now, decades into her career, Lydia remains our bravest and most articulate poet of rage, provocation, and opposition. Please welcome Lydia Lunch.
You don't even have to. Jessica, thank you, and I am confrontational. And I gotta ask this. Do you think you know me? You don't fucking know me. There are parts of myself even I don't know. You better ask yourself, how much of yourself do you know? But I know this, that I am not alone, obviously. I mean, I'm not the only one who's a fatalist, who's extreme by nature, who suffers from episodic fits of frenzy, violent outbursts, megalomaniacal tendencies, radical mood swings. I'm a woman, or sociopathic tendencies. But I get it. I know that mine is just a generation of convulsionaries at the center of a huge cosmic farce. I get that the universe is just geometry stricken with epilepsy. We're all just spectators of the human condition, nailed to ourselves as the universe yawns. Some of us, myself included, prisoners of pathological drives, uncontrollable compulsions, the product of profound psychic damage, praying for revelation by stupor. Please have another drink right after the show. I'm just attempting to put in motion everything that has been lost in space by time. And if I were ever to appear, and trust me, it has been over 20 years, and I do like to drink. If I were to appear to you drunk, it would be drunk with pain, like some kind of demented tormentrix, arousing a morbid lust, just oozing with carnal desires. I'm always anxiously awaiting that one cosmic sexual act which will violate even existence itself in a monstrous and gloriously perverse manner. I'm just praying for it to culminate in that supreme moment of ecstasy where I am no longer suspended above the abyss of insatiability which plunges my senses into a diabolical sense of anarchy. And until that time, and it could be tonight, and it could never happen, every solicitation of my flesh will be met with the undying hunger, that hungry mouth, the wise moon, that red eye, because I'm a greedy motherfucking bitch who's bred to bleed and will stricken and sicken if I have to once more feed on the festering hulks of some really fucking bullshit male carcasses. Woo! I know you can't help it. If you have to.
I'm Julia Storch. I know I'm wrong for wanting, for desire so palpable it scares everyone else, but this is how I was built. Skin stretched grotesquely in a heart that's always half full. He got me good and drunk. My limbs were different weights than normal, and I moved like an inexperienced marionette. I threw a dart into a woman's purse. She didn't notice, and I didn't tell her. He really had no idea I wasn't you, and his hands clawed at me beneath the table, and his breath smelled like vodka, which I can't stand. I can't stand vodka, really. And I loved that he wanted me so badly, but I kept telling him to wait, that people were staring for the wrong reasons, and I was pushing his hands away until he grabbed my wrist so tight and told me to stop teasing him. You should have been gentler, moved your body away carefully. Did no one teach you how to be beautiful? He told me we were going back to his and never let go of my wrist and had to run to keep up with him, but I was excited again, and people would look at us and smile knowingly, And I liked the way his fingers dug into my wrist, and it hurt a little, but I liked it. I'm sorry, I should have warned you not to get too drunk your first time, not to make him mad, because he's got a short fuse just like mine, and you don't even know how to deal with mine. And then we're in his apartment, and he's kissing me and grabbing at me, and then he just stopped and held me. Sorry, he said. I've got a short fuse, he said. I just wanted you so bad, he said. And he held my face while he peppered soft, mustachy kisses on your face, and I couldn't feel anything. I snatched his hands and put them on my body again, but he just caressed me. I told him more, but he just ran his fingers over my skin faster. I wanted bruises. I wanted to press my knuckles into my flesh and feel the tight blue knots, become addicted to the echo of having lived, having collided with something solid for just one moment, just one night, filled with urine-colored city lights and a haze of magnetism and repulsion. He kissed my mouth, and I opened my mouth, and he stuck his tongue inside, and I bit down, even though I really wanted him to bite me. He moaned at first, and then he groaned, and then he squealed, and then his body thrashed around, and then his tongue was in my mouth, and he had fallen down. I spit his tongue out and ran, and now I'm here. How did it taste? Red.
Oh. I think I know the guy you're talking about. Because he said to me that I was like the oxygen that he breathed in. He said, I was the oxygen that he said I was like a dirty white honeysuckle stained with night's runoff. He said I was like the night. I was like the night running off. Dawn slowly blisters through the night sky, a slice of dirty brown shredding a crack in the horizon. The sickly green-gray pus of another nuclear day transmits life-death rays to my brain, which accelerates my faded pulse and shoots through my bloodstream like a dirty vault of static electricity, which bounces off the ceiling, making everything look hollow, like life-size ghosted images of what real was. But I'm no longer sure I know what real is. I jolt upright like a reanimated autopsy whose motor functions fail, but after hours of neglect, suddenly ferment and register shockwave. I'm sleeping with his memory. I'm sleeping with his memory. If I roll my eyes far enough back in my head, letting just the sliver of white like a cracked crescent moon kiss the morning, somewhere under my veiny bloodshot lids, I'll zero in on him like a cheap 5 and dime storefront gypsy fortune teller. I'll read his last thought and it will scare the living shit out of me. He was like a sick shark, isolated in a prison of pain. His loneliness tasted of sand and sewer drains, of day-old beer and broken promises, of black eyes and bruised ribs, of bloody rags wrapped around the temple, soaking up the fallout from the body as battlefield. He said his body was just an experimental canvas. His body was like a blood bank, a punching bag, a carving board, a sack of pus and cum trampled under by his big black boots. Stormtroopers kicking the shit out of the enemy within. He was waging a counter-offensive which would guarantee mutually assured destruction, not only against him, not only against me, but aimed directly at that shell-shocked and battle-fatigued little boy who screamed for ceasefire in the bunker and wanted his mommy, and I'm not his fucking mommy. To kamikaze into the demilitarized zone, that uncharted territory where a part of him still lived, the part that cowered in the far corner late at night, scared of shadows and holy ghosts. And I wanted to love him. Oh, I wanted to love him like he pretended to love me, as he was the oxygen I breathed in. He was like a dirty white honeysuckle stained with night's runoff. Motherfucker.
I am Maria Aaron Jones. You can't hold or pin the night down. She won't stay where you put her. The night, she moves. She moves. She stumbles in a beaded evening gown too long for her. The jewels at the bottom of her dress go from white to smoky quartz. Before the end of the night, before the end of the night, she is lifted. She is lifted into gondolas and carriages and light trucks, folded into limos, straddling the back of dirt bikes. Smoky quartz turns to onyx. The night, she moves, she moves. We try, but we can't stop her. We can't stop her. We cannot stop her. Looking for love, looking for crimes, praying for the daylight to return. The night, we can't hold her or pin her down. We can't even rest when she's around. She wants to play, to talk. She wants to fight and massacre the earth. She wants to make a list. She wants to make a list. She makes a list of her favorite public bathrooms based on cleanliness. She wants to comfort the lady who is always crying. Always, 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 always crying. She swishes by in her lovely gown. By morning, it is blood-stained, shot up with bullets, and drowning in egg yolk, mooshed by footsteps. The night removes her gown. She removes her gown. She rinses it in the Milky Way, and she dries it on high, using the solar flares of the sun. The sun, the jewels smolder and turn into rubies. They cool, and turn to white quartz again.
I'm Katie Farman. My cat died today. She was old. She survived a lot in her life. Once she was attacked by a raccoon and didn't come home for days. I searched everywhere, left posters, checked the shelters and emergency vet hospitals. I thought that was it. I had already said goodbye in my mind. I would stand outside my front door late in the evenings, look out down the street and cry, publicly weeping in the privacy of the night. I prepared myself to keep a hole in my heart for her, dug it deep. Then one night I opened my door to step outside, and there she was waiting. A squeaked meow, dirty paws. She lived for 12 more years after that, eating scraps off the dirty dishes and taking naps on the windowsill. I found her this morning in her bed, laying in her favorite sunbeam. I thought she was sleeping. I went to pet her, and she was hard and cold. She's still there. I already dug a hole in my heart for her. My cat died today, and I wanted to disappear into the crowd. When I would go to the grocery store back home, I would always see someone I knew from school, work, the bar. We'd have a chat and catch up, and it was nice. But every time I was recognized, I got this little twinge in my heart, a little breeze blowing out from a cavernous hole inside me. I realized I kept throwing things down that hole in the hopes to fill it up eventually. But nothing ever filled that hole. Nothing was ever going to. That hole was a part of me, and I didn't want to try and fill it anymore. But I kept being forced to by obligations or favors or guilt. Everyone got so used to throwing things down the hole that is a part of me. I heard it was easy to get lost in the city. It is. It's exactly what I wanted. To be forgotten for a moment. To be just okay. My cat died this morning, and I didn't throw her down the hole that's inside me. I made a new hole, and I realized there are even more holes inside me than I could even imagine. Dark pits that are just as much a part of me as the light that shines just outside them. I'll come visit soon. I'm still excavating these caves inside me. I'm learning how to come back up for air.
I'm Rhiannon Frazier. I have to tell you that I heard it again. I know you don't want me to say that anymore, but I heard it again. I heard her again. I was sleeping by the window. The small crack in the glass blows the littlest spray kisses of rain and disturbs the dirt, and the dirt gets on my lips. And I rub them together, feeling the tiny pieces collide and smooth with my spit and rain into mud. In the day, the cracklets and dirt. At night, the water. And this is where I sleep. The only place I can sleep. The only place I've been able to sleep since we came here. No dreams. Not for the first few months. The house was too noisy, the wind was too loud. She snores, you yell in your sleep. Nothing that makes sense, just garbled, slobbery screams. You scrunch your face up like a baby, and that's why I couldn't sleep when we shared a room. No dreams. Well, one. The desert. Tumbleweeds. They blow in the wind, caught in a dust devil. Did you know that tumbleweeds aren't native to the desert? They hitched a ride on a boat and they ended up in Idaho? They can just live anywhere. They're very cowboy now. Anyway, a little tornado pulling them up into an endless, inky, indigo sky. The blue-tailed lizards, the curved-beaked birds, the bumblebees, all going up with them, fighting each other in the frenzy, confusion and crimson. A bird chokes on a lizard, the bumblebee's stinger pricking skin. It must mean it's a girl. They're the only ones that can sting, you know? Someone behind me is shushing. Shushing me, the sky, the swirling cacophony of blood and thistle. I don't dare turn around, and I watch the desert getting sucked up into the night, and when I wake up, it's the wind. That's the shushing. No person at all, a dream, just the one dream. Now I sleep by the window and I dream different things, and last night I thought I was dreaming. Well, I was dreaming. My ears are ringing and it's so quiet that I can hear the pitch, the I can't go high enough, but the and thick black mud pushes itself between my toes and it sucks at my feet, and I move so slowly. Like that time when we were little and it was Easter and Mom had bought me those little white shoes with the little white socks with the frills. And when we were walking home from the egg hunt at the church, I was crying because my little white shoes had red streaks on them because I wasn't careful, and the little white buckle had trapped me in, and the back of my socks were rust-colored and stiff from where the blisters had popped and rubbed and formed and popped again. And Mom was so mad because I was crying and you'd thrown up all over the headstone in the churchyard from all the chocolate, and Em had punched Susie Perkins from across the street in the nose for taking an egg out of her hands. And you told me to be brave and just keep going. And it was just a little further, and I moved so slowly because it hurt. But you said, just keep going. And I did. And you were right. And we went home and Mom cleaned us up and we watched TV, but it was like that in my dream. I moved so slow. And then suddenly I heard it. I heard her crying and screaming and making tiny little angry noises underneath my feet. So I shove my hands into the dirt and I'm digging and my nails are ripping out of their beds and my teeth become loose and bloody in my mouth and I chew them into little pieces and I spit them into the pit that I'm creating and I can still hear her crying. Crying for you. But I can't find her. And I wake up and I realize it's just a dream. And I settle my face back down next to the crack in the window pane and let the sweet spray of rain catch itself on my lips. And I can't tell if I'm sweating or if it's the rain. And I listen to the shh of the night. But then, from the back door, just as I'm about drifted off to sleep, I start to hear her scratching with her tiny little hands. She was scratching to come in. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know.
How long would it take to walk yourself to death? I mean, would you shoot a hole in your own hand and drink your own blood if the only sign of life left was your own? I would. I know that escape is essential. I flee to avoid capture, to temporarily outrun retribution. I strive to calculate the distance of miles between the past and the future. I know it's a futile attempt to manipulate the time I will spend stuck forever in this permanent limbo. I know that freedom is just a solitary state of grace. It's an oasis glistening somewhere off in the distant twilight horizon where the shackles that bind have been blown to bits by the bull end of a Tommy gun. But is anyone ever truly free if they can't shake off their own shadow, if they can't kill off their own bitter fantasies or brutal delusions? I feel like I live in this insomniac's theater of dream states and nightmares. I'm haunted by an army of vagrant ghosts and invisible enemies who stalk and make ruin everything in their wake. And the desert, thank you for having me here, speaks to the fugitive in me, a godless gunman, isolated, alone. I'm like some kind of intercessor standing motionless, exiled to a dusty terrain, a twilight hell of my own making. I feel like I inhabit this parallel universe where a primordial essence stalks patiently, eternally hunting. And I did live in the desert for 8 years, and I might even move back here because I am some kind of mysterious apparition with a burning desire to obliterate everything and everyone. I feel like a one-man holocaust of infinite destruction who renders the landscape not blood red, but burnt umber, a patina that speaks of the absence of color, the absence of life, the empty husk of an eternal hollow, because the desert is a barren panorama from which so much life exists, but also has been leached. It weeps of desolation. It reminds me of death, and I feel like a man, a murderer, alone. I'm imprisoned in thought, hounded as if by locusts, a numbing dim, a deep subterranean rumble, a lifetime of despicable secrets, forever murmuring just out of earshot. I am that man that rues that rune. I'm fucking ruptured, like some kind of magnificent wreck. I'm like a mirage located far south of no north, and in this enticing envelope of devil winds, if I look to you as I truly am, you would no longer be able to fucking see me, because I would have been blown away by the desert wind, this battlefield where I'm pitted against myself, against my memories and their recriminations, my brutality and its empty other. And from this siege, there is no fitful sleep. There is no relief. There's only unholy rest in which I tremble. I'm hostage by futility, treachery, aggression, exhausted and numb, waking again and again to be blistered by the sun, consumed in sand and left alone to battle my shadow. I am that man, that ruse. I'm ruptured. How long would it take to walk yourself to death? To shoot a hole in your own hand and drink your own blood? If the only sign of life left was what remained of your own, I would.
I am Diane Delgado.
I am Julie Hendren. We
Our calculator.
I wanted to talk about plastic and its geology.
Those are both adjectives, so we're good. Birth control.
The tale of noble men gone wrong.
I'd go for a walk.
This band, Viloncia, is going to be playing in Brooklyn, and my girlfriend said won't go, but we should.
Yeah, I guess. I don't really understand because you didn't ever really explain, but yeah, whatever's fine. Mila's here.
Reynolds Cut Right wax paper, protect surfaces, microwave safe, no scrub cleanup.
This does make terrible fumes.
I'm really worried about other things, you know?
Wait, the rabbit people?
In conclusion, I was so busy trying to figure out how to remove stains that I forgot about the people who actually create them.
It might be helpful to define why the consent is not clear.
One of my D&D players is colorblind, and now I have to change my gaming running algorithm because I color code everything.
Disappeared and then reappeared a year later.
I was just fucking around and finding out.
I picked him because his application seemed a little unhinged, but now I think he's unhinged.
Here, this should be a way for us to stay together.
Men are very fragile. They can get crushed down if you assist yourself in any way. You have to be tricky.
Hi, are you okay? Did you hear all those gunshots?
We could watch this one about East German punks.
People die for you. People kill. Complication. People will for you.
By 2050, there will be more plastic in the oceans than fish by weight.
So I told him, this is the result of estrogen leaving my body.
I think we came to the agreement that you can dress however you want as long as it's in celebration.
I haven't seen you in 5.5 years.
Let us know if you have any questions or concerns, and feel free to text if you want a faster response.
How's it going, Charlotte?
A lot has happened in the 9 months of looking after Keepsake, the stray cat in our yard.
Did you stop because I moved? I did want to pull your hair.
Do you use knee pads?
So you brought food to the food pantry and they brought it back to you?
He just made the happiest little sound.
You mean you're dead?
It's too early to say that entirely, but
Bro, I have like 40 pounds of candy on me. Do more.
if it's not a secret, then it's kind of just like a plan. Wouldn't you agree?
I think we have enough food, and I want you to have a good snack.
Look at this guy. He thinks he is better than the bucket of screws.
That one was good as hell.
I'm not sure where to put that fear.
I mean, nudists is everybody. Nudists can be anybody.
My personal proportions are that my butt is in the way.
What's your alarm?
Do you know how far out your ride is?
It's actually funny because so many of these things happened at Bert's. I can't remember who these people are.
What's our schedule going to look like this week?
Link to another place.
I'd even eat hot dogs. Back dimmer AB amp menu.
These are the worst people on earth.
It is hotter than Satan's butthole up here.
That would upset Pablo if we're going to make it brief.
Shake that.
You could always have a flare-up.
But, like Man in the Moon is a place you can be for a long time.
Oh, wow.
I'm prepared as I'm going to be. It will be fine. We'll just talk about art.
Quite frankly, I don't really know what those two are seeing.
All 4 of your students are gender fluid. Aww.
No, I like to eat cucumbers in the summer because they're a cooling food. Like some food that we eat in the summer is hot, but they are cooling.
Which method is used by stenographers to hide text?
The breakfast hour.
Yay, thank you.
It's feeling a little weird. It's feeling a little sketchy.
Oh, I'd say it's sketchy. There is a state of mind, I think we've just experienced it, that is, it's a condition of being, there is a state of minds, a condition of being that is, well, it exists outside of any other known dimension, where frames of reference cannot be actually contained within a single sentence, a paragraph, a tome. That could have gone on forever. I mean, there is no epic that will ever tell the tale of what goes on there in some minds who can seem to decode the mysterious secrets that are buried deep within the DNA. They're exposing like a bloodline where love, loss, weirdness, color a life rife with urgency and passion, and sometimes just dispassion and what the fuck ever. There is no set definition, really, to describe that which stretches beyond the boundaries of historical observation, or perhaps manifesting in hallucinations that are neither in the here nor the now, but expand beyond both to circle backwards and then forwards again, creating a voluptuous vortex, which is, I think, what we just experienced. Something that you can't resist, but you can't figure out either. I'm just saying. I don't even know what to say about that. Things can get pretty fucking sketchy around here. Don't you think?
I do indeed.
Thank you. I'm glad we agree.
I am the words of Danny Mettler. Baby, I think your eyes are dark. Darker than they really are. And I think you are heavier than the sky. I think you are wider than the river and frozen in April. And I think I can stomach the words you drop, like an old address, or like a baseball glove. But I don't think I can stop. I hope Sadie is laying with you, laughing while I spill my wine. And I hope your window breaks, like your shoulder, to let in some fresh air. I hope I cut out to say goodbye. I hope you don't peace out like a fish on land out of the blue. 'Cause I don't want your shadow coming through my kitchen door and rolling sticky like honey through my sheets and kissing my ears like smoke. Your dark eyes ain't got shit on the way I smile, but they have rain clouds over the way I frown. I got whiskey in my garden. All daffodils and lipstick tulips. I got Beethoven's country hits playing in my head. And the hair on my naked back grabs at the chair I never cleaned. Baby, I think you are as bright as my 65 watts. But as lonely as a calico. You are the pine and the rain, but I am the collision between the valley and the river. I hope I never cut out, and I hope you don't piece like a river, but I don't think I can stop. Out of the blue. But there's the Hudson and the Colorado And I'm not particular, as long as the current is strong.
Let's go back for a minute. Let's go back to that bottomless well of possibility, where deep breaths actually hit their mark and clean the blood, taking out the seconds which stretch on forever in this hollow space of empty time, a mausoleum to all that's left. The hours drip and rust away, a graveyard of dead summer days. I wish that someone could take me back to time that drifts. My blood has ceased that endless itch, and we dissolve in bedded bliss before the hammer's heavy blow. And now my head is pounding in a temper tantrum under skin, remembering the things we did. The calendar's been torn away. No longer can I count the days. The nights track by and sleep forgets that I forever will resist its fatal call.
Eva Platt. Do you believe in ghosts? Forgive me, my dead friend. This is for a ghost. I know I drift in my conversations between the expression of violence, but I think that an immediacy. I think immediacy is a better one than violence, because violence has all sorts of implications which immediacy doesn't give. Because immediacy is just about the immediate object there before you. But then you must never forget that every object has its passions, it has its implications, no matter who they are. If I could record you 5 people in this room, how could I do it? I could illustrate you, and what would that be? But how can I make the immediacy and the different suggestions by your very contrast, by the difference in your faces, by the differences in your shapes, how can I make those things? With you, you may say, I have to use violence. I have to use the word violence. The violence that you have here within the studio in this enclosed space. 5 living people. How can I? How could I make this thing? How can I illustrate it? But how can I find it? Will accident work for me so that I can record you? Because I'm, after all, life. Life we have, the short moment of existence. It's a way, as they talk about Proust, of crystallizing time and crystallizing moment of one's existence and all one has. Why one wants to do this, you may say. It's a mystery. We can't even know when and whether we have done it, and perhaps it's a way of passing time. And then, if you think, why doesn't he paint a rose? A rose is also very mortal. When you see a rose, this beautiful rose that in a day or 2 is dying, its head is falling over and it's withered. So is there a great deal of difference between a rose and my subject matter? Really? It's only a difference of a subject matter. I don't know why they always think that I take horrifying subjects. I don't think there's anything horrifying about my subjects. I think if you are able to give over as directly as you possibly can the excitement of life, they have labeled that as being a horrific sight. After all, I have had a very unfortunate life because all the people I have been really fond of have died. And you don't stop thinking about them, and time doesn't heal, but you concentrate on something which was an obsession and what you would have put in your obsession with the physical act you put into your work. Because one of the terrible things about so-called love.
And I just want to make a small explanation of that because it's so wonderful to me. It's as if she was channeling the thoughts of Francis Bacon, the painter, and the complaints he might have had about the violence he painted. Now, I understand violence. First of all, I'm an American. People are always telling me, why don't you just calm down? Why are you so arrogant? So belligerent? So violent? Excuse me, please. All creation bears the molecular memory of a terrible explosion of white light, white heat. Violence was the first act of creation, the Big Bang. And to some of us, violence is as natural as breathing. Conceived in a passionate act of animal violence, our first cry is slept out of us. We are born in blood and battered into breath. And when I say I'm feeling murderous again, it's not just a fucking piece of poetry that I'm purring into the mic. It is an admission of my own chronic condition. But I don't sweat the small shit. I don't think I have to calm down. I think everybody else needs to fucking rise up. Because I don't know when everybody became so fucking precious. I really don't get it. For instance, and I have to go on. Somebody grabs my ass, Jessica. I grab their fucking nuts and twist if I don't like it. Somebody cat calls me. I walk up to them real quiet like and whisper in their ear, I could fucking kill you with a throat punch, motherfucker. I don't think it's me too. I think it's your next, but that's just me. Oh no, I can't feel pretty fucking violent. I mean, I'm the violent one. When I hear a millionaire pedophiles, do I have to call them out? Epstein, Clinton, Weinstein, R. Kelly, Matt Gaetz, Woody, etc. Debase teenage girls into sexual slavery, and because of their connections to presidents, princes, heads of state, they just get, whose head should be on the fucking cutting block. They get was that a suicide or was that a fucking murder? I read the fucking black book of Epstein. It was a murder. Just saying, should have been killed a lot sooner. Now, and just once more to prove how right the Marquis de Sade was, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it was his philosophy I believe in, not the repetition of boring fucking acts by the bourgeoisie, because he was there to prove just, if you got the money, if you got the power, you can't fucking kill anything you fucking want to. I'm just saying. I'm supposed to calm down. Fuck off. There have been 3,431 mass shootings in America in the past 4 years. 400 this year alone. 386 schoolyard shootings since Columbine, and I'm counting. Thank you again for the governor today saying, nobody should carry a gun openly. The fuck? I do not understand. Because when I think about gun control, I think I'm in my bedroom holding it, and you are gonna fucking die if you went. I don't understand the concept of just aiming wildly into a classroom, a supermarket, a dance hall, a nightclub, just to commit suicide by fucking sniper. You know what? You want to go out? Call me. I will take you the fuck out. Take your motherfucking self out. No biggie. Why you gotta take innocent men, women, and children? What the fuck? You think you're the American government? Hello. But I am a sincel, not an incel. And the more they kill, the more I want to fuck. I'm just saying. Them up! And the way I see it, Mother Nature is getting pretty fucking pissed off at the men who have been causing her violence. Earthquakes, tornadoes, volcanoes, floods, forest fires, mudslides, droughts, famine, plagues. I don't think I need to fucking calm down! As they're told, that would be Antonin once said, who dares measure the tranquilizer for me? I fucking dare you. Fucking break here, calm down. You see blood on my hands? The night is early. I usually break a glass right about that, but it's too civilized here, so. It's for the ghosts. It's for the ghosts. It's for the dead and dying. This is for the war-torn and the battle-fatigued. This is for the widows and orphans of warriors. This is for the warriors who are willing to die. I don't know why. They were willing to die fighting for something that they believed in. And I guess it is better to die fighting for something that you believed in than to die living a life on your fucking knees. This is for those who believe. It's for those who believe, and you better believe in ghosts. You better believe in ghosts, because soon enough, you too will become a ghost. This is for the ghost of Fallujah, Anbar Province, Abu Ghraib, Bakuba, Guantanamo, Gaza, Beirut, Baghdad, Kabul, Kandahar, Jalalabad, Islamabad, Kathmandu, Mogadishu, Darfur, Sierra Leone, Ukraine, even Russia, Poland. It's for the freedom fighters. It's for the freedom fighters. This is for the insurgents, the rebels and rebel rousers. This is for every individual who fights against tyranny and oppression. It's for the martyrs. This is for the martyrs. This is for Mohammed Mossadegh, Salvador Allende, Oscar Romero, Teo Van Gogh, Federico Garcia Lorca, Pasolini, Bruno Schultz, Madeline Murray O'Hare. And if you don't know who Madeline Murray O'Hare was, look her the fuck up. She's the one that got rid of prayer in school. We need her back, but she was beheaded and left in the desert, not around here, Las Vegas. It's for the wounded and traumatized. This is for the survivors. This is for those suffering like I am from post-traumatic stress syndrome, which I feel like I am suffering from every day of my goddamn life. This is for those who choose to survive and strive to overcome the roadblocks and landmines, the pitfalls and setbacks, the negativity of a world which forces you to fight tooth and nail, forces you into battle mode on a daily basis just so you can maintain, and I am trying hard to maintain a tenuous grip on my own sanity after a lifetime of the enemy's torture, humiliation, and brainwashing. This is for the ghost of Brooklyn, the Bronx, Detroit, Watts, Inglewood, Oakland, St. Louis, New Orleans, Memphis, Trenton, Youngstown, Cleveland, Camden, Baltimore, Newark, Little Rock, Tulsa, Baton Rouge, and all the women that disappear around here. It's for the ghosts. It's for the ghosts who feel that they were born invisible in life, born into a war zone of poverty and desperation or neglect in a country which glamorizes violence, worships serial killers, threatens by massacre, and then arrogantly brags about gangbanging the whole fucking planet. It's for the lovers. Yeah. It's for the lovers of forgetfulness who turn a blind eye to everybody else who's been killed or murdered. Oh, and I'd like to forget because it's not my fucking war. The fuck is wrong with me? Oh, excuse me. It's for my ghost. It's for my ghost. My ghost will be as loud in death as it has been in life because I fucking said it already. Don't say a word. Yet. Take a breath, please. I'll take a fucking drink. What would you say to somebody that only has 30 days to live? What could you say? You could say that in this, the land of illusion, we're all just transitional creatures. We're all just peeping toms at the keyhole of all eternity, that the past is only the present cloaked by invisibility, and that the future is just a murmur of a memory we will never possess. That the great mystery is not that we were thrown down here at random between the profusion of matter and that of the stars, but that from our fleshy prison, we have created images powerful enough to deny our nothingness. I've tried to force my words into the mouth of the universe, a giant black hole turned inside out with tales full of sound and fury, madness and lust, and I gotta ask myself, signifying what? Signifying what? We inhabit an insignificant planet orbiting a minor star, lost in a galaxy, tucked away in a forgotten corner of an unfathomable expanse. We come spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars, hoping that one day over the distant horizon, we will find a comprehension of understanding beyond that which we comprehend now, beyond human comprehension, because we're just dust. We're just dust and shadow. And death is just the shadow that follows the body. What do you say to somebody that only has 30 hours? I mean, what can you say to somebody that only has 30 hours to live, and we will all be there if we haven't already? So you say, I won't forget. I won't forget you. I won't forget. Do you remember? Can you remember how much beauty we actually possessed? I mean, it almost destroyed us, and we wanted to. We went for it. Oh, there wasn't a day that we weren't in battle. We knew what the score was. I mean, and we fought. I mean, in the end, you got to fight. You got to fight. You got to fight to have control of your life. You have to fight to have control of your death. You have to fight against the spiritually bereft and their bullshit, because they've poisoned everything. They've poisoned everything. Poison the food, they poison the water, they poison the air, they poison you, and I don't want to believe that it's just one long death trip, that it's always been one long death trip, but it is a battle to the bitter, and it's in the air. Now what can you say? What do you say to somebody that only has 30 seconds to live? You say, you win. You win. You will be king. Yeah. So take this. This is your story. Take the power and the glory. You'll be wearing a crown of invisibility, and nothing can stop you now. You're free. You're free. This is the moment that we're all fucking waiting for. We're all going to end there one time or another. You can just ride off into the sunset, both barrels blazing, laughing like a lunatic, leaving everyone and everything else behind in the dust, because you're all just dust. Just dust. And shadow. Death is just the shadow that follows the bodies. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. Take my hand. I'm right here. Just go into the night. Go into the black velvet car. You're afraid of the night? Don't be afraid of the night. Then go into the light. Go into the light. Because yours is the story of the power and the glory. You will be wearing a crown of invisibility. You are not going to... You're going to evolve. You're going to transcend. You're going to be beyond human comprehension. Now, what do you say to somebody? All you can say is, I won't forget. I won't forget. I won't forget. I won't forget. Thank you very much. Ladies, take a bow. Thank you very much for having us. Not yet. Thank you very much. I shall return, and I'm very happy to have been here. Take a bow. Thank you very much. I don't do that shit. Take a bow if you need. Take a fall. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's what women do.